Welcome to my channel. I am Crank Addict, and I've got power windows. All in seriousness though, I showed you guys last time the differences on these late model power window doors and the early doors that come on square bodies. There are a lot of differences, thicknesses in the glass, the weather stripping, the window motors themselves are actually different between the mid-70s and the 80s. Anyway, I got the windows working and it took a lot of wiring. I'm not going to show you all that boring wiring because it's boring. But I am going to show you what I did so that if you want to do this to your early square body Chevy, you can too. Here we go. All power windows have one thing in common. They need power. And the factory gets their power from the fuse box that's under the dash. But I decided to go all the way to the battery because I wanted to use solenoids and I wanted to get 12 volts or as close to 12 volts as I can to the motors as possible. A lot of times when the power runs through the factory fuse blocks and relays and switches and all, you lose a lot of power. I mean, those 12 volts may drop to 10, 9 volts sometimes, which is a big problem and why a lot of those power windows on square bodies run so slow. You just saw, these windows rock. I mean, they're not as fast as some modern windows, but they're pretty darn good for a square body. So, I went all the way to the power source, the battery. From the battery, I've got this mess of wires going into this 100 amp relay. This is getting a little bit heavy, I think, for this relay. So I am going to add a second relay over here on the side just for my under dash fuse box that I used for this. I say fuse box, it's really a relay box. Anyway, so these wires, I've got a signal wire for the relays. I've got a power wire for my windows, which is a 10 gauge wire. And I've got another 10 gauge wire for an amplifier, which I'll probably hook up to my stereo later on. So they go underneath my little computer tray that I built. And back here through an existing grommet that I have in the dash. And boy, that was tight. This little grommet is stuffed tight, which I like. So that's not going to leak water at all. Okay, so coming around this way. Alright, so anyway, that's my amplifier wire hanging down from my relay box. Let me show you how that looks. Okay, this is a relay box that you can get on eBay and Amazon. It normally comes with 6 relays. The 6th one here is a little different. So, I don't know. I decided just to use 5 relays for now, but if I need to use a 6th, I can always pop this thing off, rewire the backside, and put it back together. I'm going to enclose my wiring diagram for you guys in case you want to copy it. So, feel free, enjoy. Anyway, so the power goes into this relay block. It goes to these relays here. And the other side of this relay feeds through these wires over here to my custom console. Okay, I showed you guys a little bit of this last time. It's getting a little dirty here. Upper is covered in perforated vinyl. Top is kind of a two-tone thing. I like it a lot. I got a little carbon fiber insert and a couple of stainless steel cup holders that I bought off Amazon. So really neat setup here. You can see my upholstery job in there. Not too shabby. There we go. And that's gonna look real great after I redo these shoddy 1980 style seats. Anyway, switch. I put the original style switch right here in the front, which is pretty easy to reach, you know, from either me or the passenger, assuming I'm the one driving. And so we have power going in. I'm using one of these factory style connectors, 5 prongs, of course. I've got 4 switches plus a power. And it's going to go in here, power's going in, the power goes to all these switches, the power comes out into the relay box. Okay, and from here it goes, I got a 10 gauge wire, well actually 2 10 gauge wires going to the driver's side through the escutcheon here, and I got a couple of 10 gauge wires going to the passenger side through the similar escutcheon. From here you can see inside there's a couple of wires that I spliced into the factory 10 gauge wires. Brown is down, blue is like the sky, so it's up. And that goes to my motor. These motors are grounded through the chassis, so there's no ground going back to anywhere else. It's just done. And that's what I did. My amplifier wire is going to be using this white wire here for a signal. This white wire is going to connect to the radio. And when, of course, this relay sees that signal, it's going to give power to my amplifier, and we'll be rocking. Okay. Oh, I also used, down here on these connectors here, I used a similar 2 pin connector under the dash on either side. So that's all set, looks real factory. I can unplug those connectors if I need to get the doors off or whatever without pulling the whole wiring harness out. I can unplug this connector if I need to remove this console. I think it works pretty well. That is the end of my, hang on a second, let me spin around here. Get a little picture of the Trans Am back here. All right, so that is the end on the power window conversion for this 73 Jimmy. That'll work for all the non-power window vehicles from 73 to whatever. Again, I had little hiccups in there, so look at that other video to see those hiccups. I'm pretty happy with the way everything turned out. So if this video is helpful, if you liked it, give me a thumbs up. It helps me in my ratings. I don't make much money off these videos, so I appreciate you guys watching. All right? Anyway, we'll be getting back to the Jimmy real soon. I got to cut and buff this thing, and man, we need to get this thing on the road. So catch you guys later.